All right, in this third and last video, I want to talk about two things that will help with troubleshooting, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is, let's just say we were having an issue with our transactions file. So I'm going to make a new transactions file, okay? New HTML file, transactions.html, transactions2.html, okay? And in that file, I'm going to copy everything from transactions into there so we can don't mess with our good stuff, okay? So now I'm going to go into chat and I'm going to tell it, I'm just going to make a new chat. I'm going to make sure I use Canvas. I'm going to say convert this template to use a list, not a dictionary. Okay. I'm going to paste it in. Now, the object that we got from our transactions.py, okay? When I say object, I mean what was passed in. So when we do our first one, and what was first passed in is here, all transactions, okay? All tickers, all accounts, and total portfolio value. There's different data types that these could be because they're all coming out of this SQL type statements. Okay, so let's take a look at what that looks like. So in this, the big part that we need to look at is right here. Okay, and notice it starts with 0 and it hits the transaction, which is this transaction, and it assumes that this is just a list. A list of this comma, this comma, this comma, this comma. And this just takes the very first one, the very second one, the very third one, the very fourth one, the very fifth one. Now, in the one that we actually pasted in, okay, convert it back to a dictionary object. All right, now watch what it does. It's going to convert it back. Okay, so instead of just a 0 and a 1, it actually takes the name of the column from the database. Okay, the error is ChatGPT, when it writes the code for you, doesn't know what this is supposed to be. It assumes it is a list, but it really is a dictionary. Okay, so something that you can tell it is you can put in the file that you're having the problem in and just say, this is my data structure, and the object is coming over as a dictionary. Now, where does that actually take place? It's a great question. If we go to our DB Connect, right here under the cursor, we set it to default as a dictionary. So it says, bring in this data, whatever you get in, always make it a dictionary. Okay? That's the difference. If this says bring it in as a list, or this says bring it in as a array, or whatever it brings it, this right here is where it needs to come in as a dictionary. Okay, and that's what you have to tell it explicitly. All right, so I'm going to delete this one. We don't necessarily need that anymore. I just wanted to demo that. That's the first thing you're going to have. If this says anything about DICT, D-I-C-T, that's the problem. Okay, you need to tell it to be explicit. In fact, you can just give it this whole DB Connect. Say, this is my DB Connect file. What is this error doing on this page? And it will fix it for you. Okay, remember, always give it the data structure. The data structure you always keep in right here. Okay, now the second thing that I wanted to talk about was in our, let me just get rid of some of these. Okay, in our database, say we're moving from module 5 demo to module 5 dupe, and we need to just move all these over. Well, those are two different servers. So when we do that, we can actually take this structure and move it over. To do that, we go server data export. Okay, we select our schema, which is the whole database. That's this whole database is going to grab all of this stuff, and we say export to a self-contained file. Make sure you figure out where this is going to go. Okay, so I'm going to probably grab it and put it into desktop. This is fine, and I'm going to say temp portfolio. Okay, and it's going to save it as a SQL file. Now, I'm going to open up that file, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, I told it to do it, and I put it where it's supposed to. I just didn't push the button. So I'm going to push the button. Okay. All right. So it's going to do it. It's going to run all its stuff. It's going to grab everything. In order to ensure a consistent backup, make sure... All right, that's fine. It ran, everything completed, nothing, no problems, really. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to open it up with, let's just open up with like Notepad. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so in my Notepad, this is what it looks like. And it looks like a bunch of gobbledygook, right? So you can tell it there's a lot of stuff here, right? And sometimes they get really big. But what we're looking for is not any of this stuff, not any of this stuff, not any of this stuff. It's this first create statement, okay? All the way to the semicolon, all the way to that semicolon, okay? So we'll copy that and we'll run it. Then right below it is its data. From here over is its data. You copy that and you run it. When I mean run it, you go over here, you open up the new server without putting any tables in. You open up a new query, you put it in here, you paste it, and you click this little lightning bolt, and it will run. And it will say, it ran, and there it is. Okay? So, but we're going to go through. That's our first table. That's our second table. This is our third table. Oh, sorry, not table. First table, first insert. Second table, second insert. Okay? So we'd go from here to here. We don't need this extra stuff. Okay? So what you could do is you can copy the whole thing and maybe go into chat and tell it, convert this file to just create or pull out, let's just do that. Pull out the create and insert SQL statements. And just paste it in. And let's just see if it will do it. Mostly my data, the ones that I've always done this for have been way too big. But this is doing it. Looks like it's doing it just fine. So here's your create statements. There's your 3 create statements. I mean, you can literally copy that code right there. Open up Workbench. Paste it all in like that. And it will create all 3. Boom, boom, boom. And you're all, and then you're done. Okay. And then come down here and you can do the same thing with the insert statements. You can copy all that insert statements and it puts all your data into your second database instance. Okay. So that's how you do the database. If you need to move a database from one instance to another instance, and let's call it like one Heroku app to a different Heroku app, that's how you would do it. It's also how you would back up your database in case you needed like a time in place. That's how you would back up your database too. All right. Hope this troubleshooting lesson 3 helps. That's it for module 5. You should be able to get all the way done with up to this point. Okay. So for module 5 demo, you should have 3 blueprints. You should have all 3 of these. You should have a good solid database with stuff in it. You should have your own database, and everything should work and be able to add, update, and delete. Okay. Now, what we forgot to tell about the one thing. So if I go into here and go to here and I click on tickers or transactions, some of these transactions, we got Microsoft. I'm going to check. If I go into tickers and I delete Microsoft and I go back to transactions, there should not be any Microsoft in here. That's pretty cool. And notice my portfolio value went down, and it went down on the home page too. Okay. Anyway, have a great week.